Never makes it in the end. If you were to use that to help somebody, it goes a lot longer, it lasts a lot longer.
Students were reminded that bullying occurs in various forms.
Bullying doesn't just happen on the schoolyard. It can happen over email, text messages, on GChat, on Facebook. But bullying is not okay.
Bullying's bad, and if somebody getting bullied, stop it or say something.
A message that hopefully all these kids will take home. From Los Angeles, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
It's hard to ignore the renaissance taking place on the historic Broadway corridor downtown. Once vacant storefronts are now being replaced by new businesses. The latest, a restaurant committed to locally grown and sustainable food. LA's Broadway was the heart of the city's retail and entertainment industry in the 1920s and 1930s. It was home to silent movie theaters and the streetcar. Councilmember Jose Huizar believes it can be that way again, thanks to new businesses like Alma Restaurant that are choosing to make Broadway home.
Yes, well, this is exciting. This is yet another addition to our Bringing Back Broadway initiative. This is an initiative that we started 4 years ago. It's a 10-year plan, but we hope to bring back lots of businesses, theaters, hotels, to once again make Broadway a place that people come to shop and be entertained.
Chef Ari Tamor, who's had restaurants in both San Francisco and Santa Monica, chose Broadway for his new restaurant, Alma, for the area's eclectic vibe and youthful energy.
It's a great new community of young artists and craftsmen and people trying to make a name for themselves and serve the community as well.
Alma's menu will focus on locally grown, farm-fresh items, and the restaurant will be intimate, seating less than 36 people at a time.
All of our produce comes from the Santa Monica, Venice, and Hollywood farmers markets. All our meat is local. All of our fish comes from area waters as well.
Tamor is just one of a long list of business owners who believe in what's happening on Broadway. The recent openings of the burger joint Umamakatessen, the newly renovated Palace Theater, and the soon-to-open Ross Dress for Less are all signs that Broadway is once again ready for the spotlight.
Having chefs like the one here at Alma announce they're coming here, other top chefs are going to say, well, hey, there must be something happening on Broadway. Why is he locating there? And it's really a domino effect.
And what better name for a restaurant than Alma, or the heart, the soul in Spanish, as a whole new generation in a new millennium is again finding the heart and soul of Broadway. Figaro Bistro, LA Brewing Company, and Two Boots Pizza have also recently opened for business on Broadway. Council members offer a warm welcome back for an ailing colleague. A longtime South LA small business owner is killed in a hit and run. And can you help the city identify historically significant places in the city? These stories and more in City Beat. A noticeably thinner Councilman Bill Rosendahl returned to a seat in council chambers at City Hall for the first time since starting treatment for cancer. Rosendahl led the Pledge of Allegiance and later received a standing ovation from his council colleagues and those in the council audience.
People have brought food to the house. People have prayed with me. People have sung with me.
Rosendahl announced last month that he was diagnosed with cancer of the pelvic area. He received radiation treatment shortly after his diagnosis and recently started chemotherapy. The city is offering a $50,000 reward for information that will lead to the arrest and conviction of the hit-and-run driver who left 78-year-old Jimmy Thomas lying injured on the street. Thomas died 7 days later at a local hospital. Police say Thomas was crossing Western Avenue near 55th Street at around noon on Monday, June 18th, when he was struck by a vehicle heading south on Western.
Anyone that's so callous that they can drive over an individual in the street and keep driving, they could commit other crimes and be just as dangerous to other people.
You didn't have to leave my husband in the street. My husband had a locksmith business. In all probability, you knew it. He's been in this community over 40 years.
Detectives believe the hit-and-run vehicle is possibly a dark-colored 2000 through 2005 Ford Escape driven by a black man in his 30s. Anyone with information is asked to contact detectives at 323-421-2500. The Silver Lake staircases, the Hollywood sign. And this temple and even this tree in Little Tokyo are all designated historic cultural landmarks. And now the city's conducting its first ever comprehensive effort called Survey LA to identify places in the city with historical significance that may not already be well known. Community members with an expertise in a specific neighborhood who can help identify the city's historical places can go to myhistoricla.org. Councilmember Eric Garcetti joined residents recently to celebrate the installation of 107 streetlights in Elysian Valley in the area bounded by Gale Street, Riverside Drive, Riverdale Avenue, and the Los Angeles River. The lighting project will improve public safety in the neighborhood, which was previously unlit. The new LED streetlights, which cost $2.8 million in local, state, and federal dollars, use approximately 40% less energy than the city's older streetlights. The Port Tech Expo, which celebrates new technological advances in the port and shipping industry, was recently held in San Pedro. Rasha Goel has more on this year's Newsmaker.
It's cutting-edge technology at its best. 2 electric-powered trucks were unveiled at this year's 3rd annual Port Tech Expo in San Pedro, all thanks to a public and private partnership, including the California Energy Commission and an independent company called TransPower, among others.
TransPower's zero-emission, heavy-duty electric vehicles are an excellent example of a technology that benefits the environment, uses clean energy, and by being capable of hauling 80,000 pounds, helps keep port container traffic moving sustainably.
Experts in the field say these types of vehicles play a significant role in reducing pollution. The old standard diesel trucks, on the other hand, were seen as a cause of the problem.
California medium and heavy-duty vehicles are less than 2% of our total vehicle fleet population, but consume about 16% of all fuel. The air pollution from this fuel directly impacts public health.
The big question, what about charging stations? How do we keep these trucks running for a long time? Well, I spoke to the creator of the new technology who informed me that these trucks are self-contained.
That silver box is our charging station. It's unique. It's a unique development. It's a 70 kilowatt charger. 70 kilowatts being the power level we can achieve with each of these chargers. And all we need to do is basically take a power cable from a fairly standard wall outlet and plug it into this box, and we can recharge the batteries in as little as 2 hours.
And TransPower CEO Mike Simon is excited about these vehicles and the benefits they have.
They eliminate pollution entirely and carbon and greenhouse gases. So that's the number one benefit. But the second benefit, which is equally important, is they eliminate fuel consumption entirely. These vehicles don't use any fuel.
And these shiny new electric vehicles, well, they aren't actually new. These zero-emission trucks, believe it or not, were actually retrofitted diesel trucks. From San Pedro, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Officials say the electric truck drive technology used in these trucks can be applied to other vehicles, such as school buses, and could potentially help create as many as 1,500 jobs in Southern California. Kids who live in a South Los Angeles housing development have had to play on old rickety playground equipment for years. But now, for the first time in over a decade, several playgrounds at the development are getting an upgrade that will make them fun and safe once again for kids and their families to enjoy. It's out with the old as a worker runs a circular saw through this rusty old jungle gym. And it's in with the new as several playgrounds on the grounds of the Pueblo del Rio housing development in South Los Angeles finally get a makeover for the first time in over a decade.
I hope you've had a chance to play on some of the 5 playgrounds that have already been completed. So this is the 6th and last one that's going to be complete here on this site, and we're going to open it sometime around the end of September, beginning of October.
Pueblo del Rio, built in 1942, is owned and operated by the Housing Authority of the City of Los Angeles. The over 300 children under the age of 13 who live at the 660-unit housing development have had to play on this and similar rundown play equipment for years. Now they and the more than 2,000 teens and adults who also live at Pueblo del Rio will be able to enjoy new play areas and other recreational amenities.
This is a community of hundreds of families who rely on
basketball courts and playgrounds and recreation centers. So it's wonderful that we're able to make this space over.
The city is investing $2.4 million for the improvement project. Councilwoman Jan Perry worked with the Department of Recreation and Parks and the Housing Authority to make the equipment update possible. And piece by piece, the playground comes apart, soon to be replaced by safe, quality recreational equipment all the residents, the young and the young at heart, can enjoy. And in addition to replacing play equipment, the makeover will include the installation of outdoor exercise equipment, basketball court renovations, as well as upgrades to the recreation center itself. In this week's list of things to do, the Sound of Music sing-along, making your own udon noodles, and a concert commemorating an important anniversary. It's one of Hollywood Bowl's most popular events, the Sound of Music Sing-Along, where the beloved classic plays on the theater's outdoor movie screen, and audience members sing along to their favorite songs, including Doe a Deer and Edelweiss. This year it's happening on Saturday, September 22nd at 7:30 p.m. But a pre-show parade featuring audience members in Sound of Music-themed costumes starts at 6 p.m. The Hollywood Bowl is located at 2301 North Highland Avenue in Hollywood. For tickets and details, go to hollywoodbowl.com. For another hands-on interactive thing to do, if you like Japanese udon noodles, why not learn how to make it yourself at an udon making class on Saturday, September 22nd, hosted by Food Story, which regularly holds cooking and tasting events with a focus on Japanese food. This interactive and fun 3-hour workshop will teach you all you need to know to make your own udon noodles and the dipping sauce. The class will be held from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Food Story Kitchen Studio at 460 South Spring Street, Suite 609 downtown. To purchase tickets, go to udon.eventb.com. Music Untold, KUSC Classical Radio 91.5 FM, and the Colburn Foundation present a concert on Saturday, September 22nd, to commemorate the 150th anniversary of the Emancipation Proclamation. The concert begins at 7:30 p.m. with a pre-show lecture at 6:30 p.m. The show at AT&T Center Theater at 1139 South Hill Street will feature, among others, tenor George Shirley, baritone Donnie Ray Albert, and composer-pianist Richard Thompson. Details can be found at musicuntold.com. And that's a look at some upcoming things to do. LA's Pakistani Americans recently held a parade to celebrate their homeland's independence. As Gil Reyes reports, they also celebrated being American.
In a city famous for its diversity, this marked a first. LA's inaugural Pakistan Day Parade brought Southland Sunni Muslims to Exposition Park.
To be with Americans, American Pakistanis, to support America and Pakistan, of course, and it's just lovely being here. It's a lovely atmosphere. It's just the feel of having a lot of people you know, people from your part of the world as well.
This year marks the 65th anniversary of Pakistan's independence from Great Britain. Recently, the war on terror has cast a critical eye on Pakistan and its neighbor to the north, Afghanistan. But local South Asians we spoke to say they have far more in common with American ideals, excelling in fields such as medicine, business, and the arts.
It's about good people. We have good people, good educated people, people here who love America because we're Americans, but again, we're home away from home. I'm sure the U.S. is a country of immigrants, and you have people come from all places. And I'm sure they also take part in these kinds of parades, and it's lovely being here.
We're just celebrating Pakistan Day, celebrating that we're all coming together as a community with other communities. It's so exciting to be here.
This multicultural celebration included ragtime music from New Orleans, also trotting horses reminiscent of Mexico. They helped celebrate the diversity of Los Angeles in a sea of green and white, the colors of Pakistan's flag. In Exposition Park, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
An estimated 150,000 people of Pakistani descent live in California, with the highest concentrations in the Bay Area and here in Southern California. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. A reminder that you could catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
Come on, let's go.
Just a minute, I gotta finish this.
Wait, you're gonna post those pictures of Mary?
Yep. She thinks she's so hot.
But her mom and dad will see them. Her grandmother, her little sister, everyone she knows. It's gonna kill her.
Who cares? Just a couple of pictures. It's no big deal.
No big deal? Don't. This has gotta stop.
Hi, I'm Jim Hoggett in Mount Washington, and when I'm not reading a great murder mystery, I'm watching LA City View, Channel 35. Our city, our channel.
Con Vizcaíno, Cardenas, Englander, Garcetti, Weezer, Perez, Victoria, Labatt, Park, Terry, Reyes, Rosendahl, Zine, Wesson, 10 members present, and a quorum. Mr. President.
First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Councilmember Englander, Council moves. Mr. Garcetti seconds. Next item.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Councilmember Parks, Councilmember Zine, you second his action. Next item.
Mr. President, before running through the agenda, there is a recommendation to receive and file item 2A and to continue item 16 to October 24. Again, receive and file 2A and continue item 16 to October 24.
Without objection. Without objection.
Very good, sir. Items 1 through 4 are items noticed for public hearing.
Mr. Clerk, any cards?
No, sir, there's not.
Okay, you want to take those up right now?
We most certainly can. Perhaps the members might want to call it special?
No, anyone want to call 1 through 4 special? No one wants to call 1 through 4 special? Let's open the roll on 1 through 4. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
All right, complete. Next items, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. President, items 5 through 16 are items for which public hearings have been held. We are awaiting committee reports for items 5, 6, 7, and 11. Again, 5, 6, 7, and 11.
We'll hold those on the desk. Members, any special on 5 through 16? All right, on the Mr. Weezer.
Mr. President, we could continue item number 11 till November 14th.
Mr. Clerk, without objection?
Very good, sir.
So ordered. On the balance of the items that we don't have reports, we want to open the roll on that, Mr. Clerk?
Yes, sir.
So on those items, you want to call them out?
They would be items 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, and 15.
Okay, so no cards, no specials. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
All right, Mr. Clerk, what's next?
Mr. President, items 17 through 30 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration, sir.
So we open the roll for consideration?
We typically do that without objection.
Well, without objection, then we'll go that way, Mr. Clerk. I like your work. Mr. Clerk, do we have any cards on these items?
Pardon me. No, sir, we do not.
No cards on the item. Members, any specials 17 through 30? Mr. Weezer.
27, please.
27. Members, any specials 17 through 30?
There's no VO.
So no special 17 to 30. Mr. Clerk?
15. Let's see if there's cards.
Let's open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Very good.
Mr. President, item 31 is an item scheduled for closed session. Would you like to hold it on the desk?
Yes, we'll hold that on the desk as well.
Very good. That takes council back to presentations, item called special or public comment for items not on today's agenda.
Well, let's take public comment right now, if I could, right now.
Very good, sir.
We have Dr. Tom Williams and Tony Mazzetti. Is that correct, Tony? Come forward, please. Dr. Williams, thank you.
Dr. Tom Williams, LA 32 Neighborhood Council from the District of El Sereno. Why did I shave my head? Because we have a crisis within our very diverse, very important community. What can we do about it? It's called cancer, the C word. What happens? People need bone marrow transplants in order to reestablish their entire body system. It takes 90 days to do a transplant. It only takes 9 seconds to do a swab. of your mouth so that you can be typed. Does this cause any problem? No. If you become a donor, then yeah, you'll have a procedure done. It'll take about an hour, maybe, or less. But it can save lives. We commit a lot of resources to saving animals, cats, dogs. We bring them into the council chambers and we have them adopted. We have 40,000 employees on very good health benefits right now in the city government. Can't we get any of those? Say 4,000, 10% of the current employees to type. Oh, by the way, if you're over 40, forget it. We're too old. We're too changed in our DNA. But we need to have bone marrow donors for the city of Los Angeles, maybe the county, but let's concentrate on the city because that's where we're at. There's a lot of people out there that are looking for donors. There are a lot of Asians that are looking for donors. There's a lot of Latino from last week looking for donors. We need donors.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. If you see me at the ropes later on, I'll talk with you at our personnel department. Our city employees are champion in blood drives and donors and all other issues. Thank you, Dr. Williams. Now, Tony, your turn. How do you pronounce your last name, Tony?
My name is Tony Manziotti, and I am a PGA golf professional, a teaching pro at Hanson Dam Golf Course. I'm addressing this to Councilman Alarcon because we need your help. Currently, the Department of Parks, the Golf Division, is taking over the driving range at Hanson Dam, and they are closing the pro shop. Now, our pro shop has been in operation for 28 years, and the city does not have a plan to keep a pro shop there. They don't have a good plan for even operating the driving range. Example is, they're going to try to use a Cub car to collect the balls, and if anybody here has ever been to Hanson Dam knows that our driving range goes uphill. None of the club cars that are manufactured can go up that hill and collect balls and work. The city, the Department of Recreation and Parks took over the cart operations, and that has been a valid success. We stood behind that. We actually encouraged it. But we would ask, I'm going to ask Councilman Alarcon if he would, under Rule 16, ask for a review of this, because John Wells has been operating at Hanson Dam for 28 years. For the past 2.5 years, he's been operating on a month-to-month contract. Currently, the Department of Recreation and Parks Golf Division does not have a plan in place. They claim they're going to have one by spring. We already have a golf course in Councilman Cardenas' district that does not have a pro shop, and the course is suffering from it. We have here close to 2,000 signatures and another 2,000 that we can produce of people protesting the closing of this golf shop and the taking over of the driving range. We just asked the City Council if they would instruct Rec and Park to leave things as they are until this supposed business plan that they're going to propose to the City Council is available sometime this spring. And that if we continue operating on a month-to-month basis, which will also keep the juvenile program intact, which has got to go away.
Thank you, Tony. Very much appreciate it. Forthwith on item 10, Mr. Clerk, Ms. Perry for a special, very special introduction.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and I'd like to welcome 5 senior officials visiting Los Angeles from Shenzhen, China. If they would stand up. The University of Southern California is hosting our guests today and have asked me to welcome them to our council meeting today. These officials oversee the social work field in Shenzhen, and I would like to personally introduce these individuals and give them recognition. So please stand when I call your name. The first individual is Wang Suming, Vice Mayor of Shenzhen and the highest ranking woman in the Shenzhen government. Yi Minhui, Lei Zheng, Chen Dongping, Meng Jinjin. And finally, Zhang Lin. We are fortunate to have them visiting to learn more about the institution and governance of American society while visiting Los Angeles, and we'd all like to welcome you to City Hall today. Thank you for coming.
Yes, this is still public comment. Okay, I do want to make sure that the commissioners that were here for reappointment recognize that you have already been reconfirmed. So I'd like to ask the city clerk to read the names into the record. But the appointments today were basically reappointments of commissioners, and you have been reappointed. Mr. Clerk, if you could please read the names into the record.
Mr. President, perhaps before doing so, we can take up items 5 and 7. They are 2 additional commission reappointments that we held for pending committee report distribution. Those 2 reports have now been distributed.
Okay. And so let's, on those 2 items, let us open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Now, if you could read into the record the names of the commissioners that have been reappointed.
Very good, sir. We have Mr. Francisco De Vivo. We have Ms. Ramona Ripston. We have Ms. Kim Patillo. We have Ms. Yasmin De La Husse, Ms. Melanie De La Cruz Vieja, Ms. Evelina Fernandez, Ms. Lynn Alvarez, Mr. Anthony Braswell, Mr. John S. Rodriguez, Ms. Charmaine Jefferson, Ms. Sandy Driver Gordon, Ms. Rita D. Walters, and that would be it, sir.
Thank you, and again, to all of you, congratulations. Let's give our commissioners a round of applause. Okay, it's my understanding that we have let's vote to reconsider item 9. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Could you repeat that?
12 ayes.
Okay, now let's vote on item 9. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, now we'll go to Mr. Garcetti for a presentation.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. President. You guys can come all the way. Thank you very much, Mr. President. We were all riveted this summer because Los Angeles is an amazing Olympic city. We are a city that has hosted the Olympics twice, but more than just hosting the Olympics, we are the proud home of so many Olympians. And it is my honor today to recognize some amazing local athletes who represented America, and specifically Southern California, in these past London Olympics. Now, give them... Now get this, and I don't know if you guys have heard these statistics yourself. If California were its own Olympic team in the past 2012 London Olympics, it would have had a bigger delegation in London than Mexico, Turkey, or Switzerland. But more than that, and I just did this research, there are 90 medals that were won by individuals with links back to Southern California. So if Southern California was its own country, we would have actually finished just ahead of China and only behind the United States. But we are a proud member of the United States. We are a proud part of this country. And the 128 members of Team USA that hailed from the Golden State, with the majority coming from Southern California, 28 of those Southern Californians brought home medals. 90 folks from, including other countries, call LA home. Overall, California produced 23.4% of Olympians for Team USA this year, when we're only about 12% of the population. So it gives me great joy to welcome 4 of these athletes who are here with us today. Kashia Baker, Carmelita Jeter, Lucinda Demas, and Dwayne Solomon. Give them all a round of applause and thank them. Yeah. So we want to present on behalf of the City of Los Angeles some very special congratulations to each one. I want to make sure I have the right one. So I'm going to start with Kashia Baker, who was born January 13th, 1988 in Fairfield, California. She attended Fairfield High School, where she was a member of both the women's track and field and the women's basketball teams. She was a 5-time state track medalist and a Solano County Athletic Conference MVP for basketball, and was also named the Daily Republic's Girl Athlete of the Season for her senior year. She chose to attend the University of Oregon, where she was a 6-time All-American, 6-time Oregon school record holder, a member of the Ducks' 2010 NCAA Outdoor and Indoor 4x400-meter championship team, and runner-up the NCAA Indoors in 2010. While at Oregon, she majored in psychology, was a member of the Honor Roll, and started a non-profit organization called Save Our Student Athletes, which is dedicated to supplying after-school K-12 programs for budget-stricken youth. Mr. LeBond, you can join us. Come on up here. Kashia Baker won a gold medal in London as a member of the USA Women's 4x400 relay team, running the opening leg of the semifinal heat. And she currently lives and trains in Los Angeles while commuting to San Diego State University, where she's entering her second year in the school's public health and social work program in the College of Human and Health Services. Let's give her an amazing round of applause, this great Olympian, Kashia Baker. The other way.
Thank you very much. I feel really honored to be able to receive this recognition, and I feel really blessed, and I'm glad I was able to be a part of Team USA and take home the gold medal in the 4x4, and thank you very much for your support.
All right. Thank you, Kashia. Our next honoree is Carmelita Jeter, who was born on November 24th, 1972 in Los Angeles. She attended Bishop Montgomery High School. What's the? Tom usually knows all the. He always knows all the mascots.
The Knights.
The Knights.
Where she played basketball and only began sprinting after it was suggested to her by her basketball coach. She went on to attend Cal State Dominguez Hills. She graduated with a degree in physical education in 2004. A 6-time NCAA Division II All-American sprinter, she was a 3-time 100-meter runner-up at the NCAA Division II National Championships. In 2004, she was the first ever U.S. Olympic Trials qualifier from Cal State Dominguez Hills. She is the most decorated track and field athlete in the history of Cal State Dominguez Hills. In 2009, she posted the fastest women's 100 meters time in 12 years with her victory at the IAAF VTB Bank World Athletics Final in Thessaloniki, Greece. Just 7 days later, Jeter became the second fastest woman in history over 100 meters, winning her race in an astounding 10.64 seconds. As a member of Team USA, Carmelita Jeter won 3 medals in London. 3 medals, including a bronze medal in the women's 200 meter, a silver medal in the women's 100 meter, and a gold meter as a member of the women's 4x100 relay team, for which she ran the final leg, and they set a world record, beating a 27-year previous record, smashing it by over a half a second. So we congratulate Carmelita Jeter for being an amazing athlete and an amazing Angelino. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. He got all of his information correct, but I was born in 1979, so let's...
You didn't look 72.
But other than that, I'd just like to thank you so much for acknowledging us and acknowledging myself as being from Los Angeles, California, being a Southern California alum from Bishop Montgomery to Cal State Dominguez Hills. It's definitely an honor to be recognized here, and I thank you so much for taking out the time to recognize my accomplishments in London and throughout my career. Thank you so much.
So you heard that. She was born in 1982. Okay. Next we have Lucinda Demas, who was born on March 10th, 1983? Yeah. All right, 1983. I got to watch it now. In Inglewood, right here in Southern California, attending Long Beach Wilson High School. Tom?
It's Long Beach. I know the Jackrabbits from Poly. What are the Wilsons?
Oh, the Bruins, yeah.
The Bruins. where she ran and still holds the high school record for the 300 hurdles. She also ran on the 4x400 relay team that set the national record in 1998, ran the second fastest time in history in 1999, and then broke its own national record in 2001. She also competed in the 100-meter hurdles, winning the CIF California State Meet in 2001, and was a member of the 2001 champion 4x100 relay team. In 1999 and again in 2001, she was named National Girls High School Athlete of the Year by Track and Field News. Demas went on to attend the University of South Carolina, not that USC, but the other USC, to work under Curtis Fry. And while at South Carolina, Demas won the World Junior Championship in 2002, the NCAA Indoor Championship at 400 meters in 2004, and a silver medal in the 2005 World Championships. She was also a member of the school's first NCAA Team National Championship when the women's track and field team won the 2002 NCAA Outdoor National Championship. In 2004, she turned professional after competing in the Summer Olympics in Athens, Greece, which was followed by the first of 2 national titles in the 400-meter hurdles in 2005. Lashinda gave birth to twin boys in June of 2007, and astonishingly was back in training just weeks later, collectively regaining her health and strength to recapture her #1 status. Lashinda secured the women's 400-meter hurdles world title and the American record during the 2011 World Championships in Korea, and she ran the fastest 400-meter hurdle time of that year, setting a new world best at 52.47. Lashinda's time was the 3rd fastest ever and broke the 16-year-old American record. As a member of Team USA, she brought home a great silver medal in London at the 400-meter hurdles race. Please welcome to our council chambers, Lashinda Demas.
Thank you very much. I'm all about collecting all this stuff just so my kids can know that mommy was the big thing. But I really appreciate it, and you know, it feels good to come home to people that appreciate and respect what you do as a career. This is our career, and to know that you guys acknowledge us in that way and on this level is truly an honor. So we don't take any of this for granted, and we really, from the bottom of our heart, and I say this for myself as well, truly grateful. Thank you.
Beautifully said. Next, we have Dwayne Solomon, who was born on December 28, 1984 in Lompoc, California. He attended Mount Cabrillo High School, where he was the 800-meter state champ in 2003 and earned the honor of being named California's Gatorade Athlete of the Year. Solomon then studied sociology at the other USC, the University of Southern California, where he was a 5-time All-American in the 800 meters. In 2006, he was the 800-meter Pac-10 champion and was also a member of the 4x400 relay team. In 2007, he made his first world team representing the world champion USA in Osaka, Japan. In 2008, he continued his success with a 3rd-place finish in the NCAA finals and a 6th-place finish in the Olympic trials. And he also participated in the Olympic Games as well as a member of Team USA. He placed 4th in the men's 800-meter final with a time of 1:42.82, a personal best. So he set a record too. He continues to train here in Southern California, and we love, that's not you. And we love you for what you have done as well with all these athletes that are here, proving that the finest come to Los Angeles. The finest are often from Los Angeles and Southern California, and we continue to be a city of angels. So welcome this angel, Dwayne Solomon.
Wow, man, this is a great honor. It was definitely, an experience out there in London, and I appreciate all of your, support. And it was just an honor to represent the USA and also the city of Los Angeles. And it's something bigger than, or like bigger than, like your own self. So I just feel really honored, and then hopefully, we can do this again. So thank you very much.
Absolutely, you got it. And I want to ask Tom LaBonge, who is our unofficial cheerleader here in the city of Los Angeles, a man who represents us so well, and it's helped us as we look at bringing the Olympics back here to Los Angeles. And I've been informed by the United States Olympic Committee that we will be bidding for the 2024 Olympics, and we want to push Los Angeles as one of the cities that's going to be doing that, because it would be great to have it come home right here. If you go out to the Rotunda, you can see the torch from the 1984 Olympics, which we'll make sure you guys see on the way out. But with that, please welcome the one and only Tom LaBonge.
Mr. Garcetti, before you bring up Mr. LaBonge, please don't ask him any more high school questions today. I think he's striking out.
I know he is. He knows all that.
So maybe you can redeem yourself, and then I'm going to call on Mr. Zine.
You betcha, Mr. President. I want to just say how proud we are of all of you. And I'm especially proud of you because there was such a great shot of your children in the stands. That was so special, and the enthusiasm that all of us in the world got behind the Olympic Games. This morning, we honor an Olympian-like person in our sister city program, but all our sister cities are here. We're an Olympic city, Los Angeles. In 1932, this city hall was the place where they said, we got to have the games. This building was built in 1928 when Los Angeles was just getting together. And in 1932, we invited the world here. And then again, in 1984, really in 1978, the late great Mayor Tom Bradley and then the late great City Council President, Trojan John Ferraro, said we have to have the games again. Right after Montreal and all their challenges, and the world came again. And when the Chinese, who were just in here and introduced by Miss Perry, I greeted them outside and saluted them for the 2008 games. And they got very happy because they were very proud. We're proud of you. We have great athletes, great coaches. I like when you all mentioned your coaches. And I hope we should have a special way to salute all our Olympians with a parade down Broadway, Mr. Weezar. But I just wanted to join and thank you and also present you our official map of the 84 Games Centennial Celebration, which talks about the history. And we're so proud of you. Let's give these Olympians a great big hand.
Mr. Zine.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Tom, for that trip down memory lane from 1932 and the other wonderful activities. I just want to acknowledge you athletes. People watch on television and they see that very short segment of what you're doing to win that medal. And they have no idea how many hours, how many years you invest of your time, your energy, your love for that, and to bring that medal back to the great United States of America. And when I see the athletes up there with that American flag, it just warms my heart. But I want to acknowledge you for winning, but the time you invested and the sacrifice you made, because it takes a long, long time. Whatever sport you're focused on, it takes a long time to get to that level, and then to pass the trials, and then to get there, and then go to another country and compete and then win. I mean, it's a daunting task. I just want to acknowledge that. A lot of people think, well, you just show up and you win that medal. There's a lot of preparation. So I want to acknowledge all of you for your dedication to that. You make America proud. You make us all proud. And Mr. Garcetti, thank you for bringing him here to the council chambers to acknowledge him. I remember when I was signing those, I said, man, this is great. We've got Olympic athletes coming to Los Angeles City Hall. It's really a wonderful testament to you and your folks, your parents that turned you into what you are today. Productive people in this great land of America. So God bless you, and happy trails ahead. I sure some of you are going to compete down the road, the next Olympics, and your children will say, you know what, I want to compete too. But it's a real tribute to your dedication to that sport and also to America. So God bless you. Continue on with the good work. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. LaBonge and Mr. Garcetti. In fact, Mr. Koretz, raise your hand, Mr. Koretz. You guys see Mr. Koretz? He's the fastest member on the Los Angeles City Council. So my question to you, can you take him? Anyway, I want to congratulate you. You guys honored our country. You made us all feel proud. I can't remember when I watched so much of the Olympics on TV. I'm very proud, very, very proud of all of you. Congratulations. This is the least we could do. Can we give them another round of applause?
Give a standing ovation. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you to our four incredible athletes, and we know that U.S. track and field is once again the best in the world. USA. And thank you to the LA84 Foundation. And thank you to the LA84 Foundation as well. Thank you very much, Mr. President. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Garcetti. Before we move forward, Mr. Krikorian on item 31.
Thank you, Mr. President. That settlement can be approved in open session. The Budget and Finance Committee considered it and recommended approval. Unless members have particular questions that need to be discussed in closed session, we can proceed with that now.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, could you read that item so we can vote on it?
Very good, sir. Item 31, in the case entitled Maria Garcia versus City of Los Angeles, there is a recommendation to expend $500,000 in settlement.
Okay, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. Labange.
I'm joined by Al Nodell, the chairman of our Sister City program, and as you're president, I'm chairman, however it works. You get it right, but we care about Sister Cities, and we're here to salute one of the greatest sisters of all, Dr. Stell Foyers, who has served so many years in our Sister City program. And let me tell you a little about Dr. Foyers. She was the first female president of the Los Angeles City College, the Cubs, where Bernard Parks and I both went to school up there. She created unique employment-based training programs at LACC as an educator, which we see today in the workforce programs that they have out there. She initiated one of the first disaster preparedness programs for all colleges in the community as her tenure at the college. And in her retirement, as an educational management consultant, she's worked around the world in helping them to design and implement management training academies for educational institutes in the world. Dr. Foyers has long been committed to the Sister City program, which was started over 50 years ago by then President Eisenhower, who felt it's people to people that make a difference. City Hall to City Hall, not Washington to other places, but people to people. And out of the Sister City program, she has been very involved with citizen diplomacy. She has been longly committed to this program, and she's been elected to 2 terms on the board of Sister Cities International, which I'm fortunate to now serve on, and thank you, Stell. She currently serves as the treasurer for our Los Angeles Sister City program and is president of the Southern California Sister Cities, which serves all the cities in Southern California, which is a very, very special program. We also have her family here, which we're going to ask you to introduce a little in just a moment here. But I didn't want this to pass, Stell, because you've been the foundation of this program through many administrations, from Mr. Bradley to Mr. Reardon to Mr. Hahn to Mr. Villaraigosa. And your work in education was so important. And your daughter, who is also an educator at City Now, after you were there, no nepotism there. After you were there, you got there and you were able to pursue your mother's profession as well. And all these great representatives of our Sister City program. So today, on this day, Mr. President, we salute Dr. Stell Foyers for her great accomplishments, not just in our Sister City programs, but an educator at the most important educational institutes, our community colleges, that really give people the chance to go further and go faster and higher. So thank you. Let's have a big hand for Dr. Stell Foyers. Here we go, right here. Good job. And I'm going to ask Dr. Foyers to say a few things.
Please come forward.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this honor. When it came to Sister Cities, it was not difficult to be influenced by advocates like Mayor Tom Bradley, Councilman John Ferrara, Carolyn Amundson, Tom Labange, and countless thousands of volunteers from Los Angeles and every major American city, volunteers who promote citizen diplomacy. With Los Angeles' 25 sister cities, it has always been in the forefront and has gained culturally and economically from its people-to-people involvement. I'm pleased to have participated and contributed, along with so many others, so many who are here today, in this remarkable worldwide movement. Thank you.
Mr. Mr. President, I want to also thank you. We have here from Mexico City, our Mexico City sister cities, Taipei, Makati, Nagoya, also from our friends from Zambia and California. All of us appreciate Janet Elliott from International Visitors, which is so important. All of you are very special to be here to salute this very special person. So, Mr. President, I thank you for the time. We're going to go to back to the press room and take a picture. Al Dodell says right on for Sister Cities. And we thank you. And big another hand for Stell Foyers.
All right, give her a round of applause. Thank you, Mr. Laban.
Thank you.
Mr. Huizar, can we move to your item? I believe it was item 27.
Yes, sir. Oh, we doing it up? Yeah. Go up there or do it here? Really? Thank you, Mr. President. This is item number 27, but I thought I would take the opportunity to make a more formal presentation along with our friends from AT&T. And I'm here with Lupita Sanchez Cornejo to join me on this. And we are announcing and thanking AT&T for standing up and taking charge and advocating that we as a society should not text and drive, and it's certainly not worth it in any form or fashion. The It Can Wait, No Texting While Driving campaign is comprised of several key initiatives, including having 240,000 AT&T employees to take the pledge, and I urge our city family to take the pledge as well. AT&T is educating the public through TV ads, providing a toolkit of information to every U.S. high school, and lastly, bringing an in-car simulator to more than 200 locations before the end of this year to show students the danger of texting and driving. And today at noon, there is a pledge card drop site for high school students and any other interested person in taking the pledge at the Weingart Center in East Los Angeles, the YMCA building, and it's located at 2900 Whittier Boulevard. There will be special appearances by upcoming pop stars Ryan Betty and Jasmine Villegas. So colleagues, if you want to send this information out through your newsletters or get the information out, you could get more information at www.itcanwait.com. And so with that, I have a resolution to present to AT&T thanking them for this very special initiative. This will save lives, save accidents, and thank you for being a good corporate member of our City of Los Angeles family. Thank you so much, Lupita.
Thank you, Councilman. Good morning. Thank you, Councilman Huizar. My name is Lupita Sanchez Cornejo. I am with AT&T, and I'm pleased to be here this morning. Today is National No Text on Board Day, and our chairman this morning started the morning with U.S. Transportation Secretary, the FCC chairman, at his event in Washington, D.C., and we're having hundreds of events throughout the country. And as Councilman mentioned, today in L.A. we'll be at the Weingart East L.A. YMCA. And our message is simple. No text is worth dying, and it can wait. So I hope that you will join the hundreds of thousands who have already taken the pledge that they will not text and drive. And you are 23 times more likely to get in an accident, and so it's simply not worth it. We also have an AT&T Drive Mode application that lets your friends know that you can't take a message right now because you're driving, and we've had over 80,000 downloads, and I hope that you will look into those applications as well. And our goal, again, is just to save lives and prevent accidents. So I applaud you for this and thank Councilman Huizar and everyone here for your commitment to no texting while driving.
Lupita, it's good to see you again. Mr. Cardenas.
Yes, thank you very much. I'd like to thank you, Lupita, and AT&T for your leadership on this as well. But I think it's important that we also remind, especially our young people, maybe those of us who are a little bit older than teenagers, we think of texting as one element of what people do on their phone. But I noticed that my kids, when they grab a phone, they're doing 10 different things that I don't even use on that thing. So the message isn't just about texting, correct? The message is about driving when you're driving, and then using your phone and your fingers for other things when you're not driving, correct?
Distracted driving is hazardous at all levels, absolutely.
Correct. Well, thank you very much, and I'm sure we will learn how to get that message out, all of us, as accurately as possible, because unfortunately, I know when I talk to my teenagers, unless I say it exactly right, they're going to try on purpose to interpret it differently than what I'm actually trying to say. So I'm just spending a moment to remind us that we are dealing with, in most cases, adolescents who think it's okay. It's not okay. And unfortunately, it's those of us who've been around a little longer who do know the stories and do have friends and people that we were close to that we've lost because of situations like this. And young people, unfortunately, don't feel it strong enough yet. But yet these messages need to go out, and we have to be as diligent as possible, because children can want to ignore what's best for them. And I think it's important for us to understand that we need to keep this message going. We need to keep talking about it. We need to keep doing PSAs. We need to keep making sure, whether you're the CEO of a company or you're a mother like yourself, we need to share this not only with our children, but anybody we can influence. So thank you very much for your influence and your leadership.
Mr. Huizar, back to you.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Mr. Cardenas, for that. Last year, Mr. Cardenas, when we made a similar presentation, you reminded us that sometimes we may think that we have that extra second to look up when we're texting, but in reality, several studies have shown that that is a lot shorter and quicker than we may think, that moment when you have to look up and brake and be ready to prevent an accident from occurring. So thank you for that. And remember, don't text and drive, or as Mr. Cardenas reminds us as well, don't do anything with your phone while that it's not permitted by law while driving, or be distracted by anything else while you're driving. Thank you so much, and thank you, AT&T and Lupita.
Okay, hold on, Mr. Huizar. Mr. Parks, you're on the queue. Always disregard that. Okay. Madam Clerk, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, what are you suggesting we do with item 6?
Mr. President, there's been a recommendation to receive and file this matter in as much as the appointee, Mr. Fernando Villa, has withdrawn from further consideration.
Okay, Mr. Cardenas.
Just want to clarify that we move to receive and file.
Very good.
Okay, without objection. That brings us back to general public comment. I think it's Eric Roman, SD Chandel, Dow House Dude. When I call your name, please come forward. Eric, go right ahead, sir.
Good morning, Eric Roman, resident of Council District 13. I want to bring to the Council's attention this morning an issue relating to the Transportation Committee. The Council was forwarded a recommendation from the Transportation Committee to approve a contract with Veolia. Veolia is a French multinational corporation that is directly implicated in human rights violations and violations of international law in Israeli-occupied Palestine. And over 30 speakers from across the city encouraged the Transportation Committee to reject the contract bid from Veolia to operate Dash buses here in Los Angeles. So my colleagues will elaborate on the human rights violations that Veolia is directly implicated in, but we want to flag that the decision of the Transportation Committee, those 3 members that were present, to basically set aside the concerns of a broad number of community members was on the basis of erroneous advice from the city attorney, that rejecting a contract bid from Veolia on the basis of their corporate record internationally would somehow amount to a boycott of Israel, which it is not. We're simply asking, in the tradition of this city, taking a position in support of human rights around the world, as has done repeatedly across the decades, to consider the corporate record of Veolia in Israeli-occupied Palestine, and to, in doing so, reject the contract bid from Veolia. There are other bidders that could also provide services to the city equally well, and that would not tarnish the city's reputation on the basis of their record in another part of the world. Thank you.
Thank you. And Miss Shandell, followed by Dollhouse Dude, followed by Carol Smith. So
Hi.
Carol Smith. Yes, good morning. Go ahead.
Good morning. I'm Esty Chandler. I live in Council District 2. I represent an organization called Jewish Voice for Peace. I want to make the point about Veolia that their complicity with Israel's occupation undermines a peaceful settlement between Israelis and Palestinians. The infrastructure which Veolia has built and operates in occupied Palestinian territory, from transportation to waste disposal, are Israeli projects built according to Israeli plans and Israeli needs on Palestinian land. They cement with steel and concrete Jewish-only settlements in the West Bank, which undermine any efforts by Israelis, Palestinians, and their American and international supporters to broker a long overdue and lasting peace agreement consistent with the national rights of both Palestinians and Israeli Jews. A letter signed by a number of well-known Israeli authors and artists states that legitimization and acceptance of the settler enterprise caused critical damage to Israel's chances of achieving a peace accord with its Palestinian neighbors. Nobel Peace Prize winner Jimmy Carter has said that success in securing peace in the Middle East is contingent upon Israel ending settlement construction on Palestinian land. Pro-Israel, pro-peace organization J Street states that Israel's settlements in the occupied territories have, for over 45 years, been an obstacle to peace, and continued settlement growth undermines the prospects for peace. UN Security Council Resolution 446 determined that the policy and practices of Israel in establishing settlements in the Palestinian and other Arab territories occupied since 1967 have no legal validity and constitute a serious obstruction to achieving a comprehensive, just, and lasting peace in the Middle East. We ask the LA City Council to deny the contract to Veolia. Thank you.
Yes, Dollhouse Dude, followed by Carol Smith, followed by Marcy Newman.
Yes, I am here to let you know that there are different ways of thinking. All this Palestinian-Israeli BS is nothing more than the territoriality that we as humans have burdened upon ourselves. We are a bunch of idiots because we don't know how to divide the world. We need to change every law of real estate around the world so everybody has a place on earth. The birds are not sending missiles at each other because they live in the next tree. The wolves may fight for a place, a cave, because they need it for their family, but they're not going to go shoot atomic weapons at each other because, let's see, this is my border, this is your border. We should be advanced enough in our thinking to erase every single, can I say goddamn border? Is that allowable? Stupid border. What else should I say? Shouldn't we human beings be smart enough to do away with all the red tape that you guys are always providing us with? You know? You always do it for our own good, but you do not outlaw the things that are really hurting us, like alcohol. Hello? Anybody listening?
Thank you. Ms. Smith, followed by Marcy Newman, followed by, I think it's Raheem Kurwa. Yes, go forward.
Carol Smith, Councilman Reyes's constituent, Jewish, not anti-Semitic, attorney for over 50 years. You would agree, would you not, that where a committee's recommendation is based upon erroneous legal advice, infected, if you will, by that advice, that recommendation is null and void. When you have been apprised of the possibility that that recommendation is null and void, the least you could do as representatives of the city of Los Angeles, of over 2 to 3 million people, is make sure that you are thoroughly briefed on this issue. You have not been thoroughly briefed on this issue. The National Lawyers Guild presented a full letter and memorandum showing you that a denial of the contract with Veolia would not have violated any federal or state statute. Not one of you, I am certain, has been adequately briefed on why what we have presented is not accurate. If what we have presented is accurate, then that means the recommendation of the Transportation Committee cannot be considered by you. They were told by the city attorney that they could not enter into the contract with Veolia because of their violations of human rights and the basic values of this country. Veolia is committing acts and participating in acts in violation of the right to travel and the right to public accommodations in Palestine and is denying ridership to Palestinian peoples in that country. It is not anything that could occur in this country. I assume the City Council should have, and we were looking forward to an opportunity to discuss in detail if there were oppositions to our legal memo, then that should have been
Thank you very much. Thank you. Marcy Newman, Raheem, and then there'll be a Mary C. Singus, I believe. If you guys could come forward. Go right ahead.
President Wesson, thank you. I'm a member of your district. Before I begin, I just wanted to say I really appreciate the no texting while driving, but I also wonder, when are we going to have a no texting or no reading while governing? All of you are doing other things. No one is paying attention to anything anyone says, and I find it quite rude. I'm a teacher. I don't let my students text or read or do other things while I'm teaching. I would hope that I could get the same respect while addressing you. Okay, so basically I want to say something about growing up in this city, and a city that while I was a child desegregated, but also started busing in order to try to integrate this city. And it affected the schools in a very positive way for me because I went to school with kids who are not like me. But I was thinking about how would all of you feel if Veolia's Dash line created a line that just went from downtown to Simi Valley and just served the white people of this city? That's essentially what Veolia is doing in Palestine. They're not letting Palestinians or Armenians ride on these buses. If you're not Jewish, you can't get on these buses. And specifically with respect to Los Angeles city law, I would think that you would like to be reminded that your administrative code prohibits the city from contracting with any company whose practices violate the city's own non-discrimination policies. So you're in violation of your own law by contracting with Veolia, because they, by definition, have a Jewish-only line that is practicing discrimination. They have closed jobs to Palestinians on this line, even Palestinians who are citizens of Israel, and they operate exclusively between settlements in the West Bank and Israel.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And just for your information, we do have computer screens where a lot of members watch you on the computer as they're signing documents. So Raheem Kuwa, followed by Mary Singus, followed by, I believe it's Kamran Kashni. Please come forward. Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Raheem Karwa, and I'm here to talk to you about Veolia's direct complicity with Israel's ongoing violations of Palestinian human rights and international law. This corporation's light rail and buses run on and traverse occupied Palestinian land. They seamlessly link and integrate settlements in the occupied Palestinian territory with Israel, which result in its virtual annexation, which is contrary to both United Nations international law and U.S.'s own policies. The Veolia light rail and the Jerusalem light rail and by extension Veolia's actions were denounced by the United Nations Human Rights Council in April of 2010 for being in clear violation of international law and relevant United Nations resolutions. And furthermore, they were harshly criticized in a recent report by the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, saying that Veolia's transportation services are part and parcel of an ethnic segregation infrastructure in the occupied Palestinian territories. That is a form of discrimination that violates Los Angeles' own ethics and beliefs, and that we should reject. In addition to the Jerusalem light rail, Veolia's bus services are also designed to integrate the settlements with Israel. Several lines run directly between settlements, others traverse the occupied West Bank and use roads that are built for and restricted to use by settlers with very rare exceptions. Therefore, today I'm here to ask that the LA City Council rejects the Transportation Committee's recommendation on Veolia's contract. Thank you.
No, thank you, sir. Ms. Singas, and we will add to the list, I think, is Sherna Gluck. Please go forward.
Hi, my name is Mary Singas. I live in Mar Vista in Councilman Rosenthal's district. And besides the information regarding Veolia's work in Palestine, Israel, there are some other questions about that I would wonder if these questions were answered and heard. How has Veolia delivered on their contracts throughout the United States and the world? Did anybody do any research on that? What safety concerns do they anticipate? Yes, we understand they have lots of safety features in these last 4 years since Chatsworth, but why did our citizens have to die and be injured in order to get that to happen? Why did Veolia exit mass transit with $6.7 billion sales to reduce debt last year? Why aren't they in such debt? Is this contract with Los Angeles one of those who will be sold within the 5-year contract you've already set up? Why is the City of Los Angeles contracting out services to this pro-profit company in France? Why not put people in Los Angeles before the French company's profits? From the letter you received from the National Lawyers Guild just now, Veolia Transportation's own code of business on page 16 states a standard that would require it to decline to contract with its own parent corporations. We do not do business with customers who do not strictly comply with the law or whose business conduct does not conform to the standards of ethical conduct we expect of ourselves. We will not knowingly allow anyone working with us or for us to violate any laws or standards of ethical conduct. The City of Los Angeles needs to reevaluate this decision. I thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good morning, council members. My name is Kamran Qasri. I'm a resident of the City of Los Angeles, and I'm going to read you the list of the cities that have already boycotted Veolia. 2008, banks in Switzerland and Holland announced Veolia does not meet their contracting criteria. 2009, Stockholm County Council announced end of 10-year-long Stockholm County Metro subway contract with Veolia, which would have been worth euro 3.5 billion over the next 8 years. The Greater Bordeaux in France, or Los Angeles sister city, local government announced that the contract for the biggest urban network in France was awarded to Veolia's competitor. In Ireland, Dublin City Council unanimously passed a resolution calling on the city manager not to renew any contract with Veolia and excluded all new contracts. Veolia lost contract to privatize public services for garbage collection and street cleaning in Edinburgh, Scotland. In May 2011, Veolia lost the new joint East Hants Winchester City contract for rubbish collection, Hampshire, contract covering 1.4 million inhabitants of the West London boroughs to Brent, Ealings, Harrow, Hillingdon, Hounslow and Richmond upon Thames for treatment of residual domestic waste. In May 2012, Hyperlink Veolia was rejected from contracts in The Hague, the International City of Peace and Justice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Gluck?
Thank you very much. I'm not going to speak about Veolia. I'm going to speak about you. I'm going to speak about the lack of democracy in action. I'm very happy that there are no school children here today to see how this city council functions. That met 3 members of a committee, I don't care what committee it is, any committee, who also happen to have been misadvised, can make a decision, and this city council then simply passes it with no further discussion. There were 33 people at a Transportation Committee meeting. I don't know, besides the chair, if the other 2 members who were there paid any attention. The rest of you who are on the committee weren't even there. Have you seen all of the material? I want to talk about your process, or lack of process. We're very proud of those young people who stood up here today, but I can't say that we should be proud of the way this city council functions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Clerk, what's next?
Mr. President, Council has motions for posting and referral.
Let's consider them posted.
The desk is clear.
Okay, members' announcements. Mr. Buscaino.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's with great pleasure and that I introduced that my Chief of Staff, Doan Liu, turned 50 today.
All right.
We want to wish him a happy birthday. Doan has put years of service here in the city of Los Angeles, and Doan, we wish you the best birthday ever as you are 50 today. You don't even look 50. Jeez.
Now, Doan might be 39 and holding like the president, so I don't know if he wanted you to out him or not.
We want to wish him a good day and a happy birthday.
He's a good man. And members, I have quick announcements. Mr. Koretz, within the next 2 weeks, we will be taking 4 very important votes beginning next Tuesday. We're going to have to deal with, at the end of the next week, Farmers Field. We will deal with the DWP power concerns. We will deal with pension reform next Tuesday. And then we still have to dispense with the medical marijuana issue. So those are 4 issues that we will be dealing with within a short period of time. So I know some of you are excused, but I'd like for you to attempt to adjust your calendar so we have a full complement of members when we take on these very serious issues. Mr. Zine?
Mr. President, I just wanted to acknowledge our mayor for the news conference he had regarding the pension modification is coming forward, which will be an ordinance that will be coming forward to this council, and Dion's looking like I can't speak anymore. But I just want to acknowledge the fact that the mayor is standing up to make the changes necessary so we can continue to provide the service to the people of Los Angeles.
The mayor standing up in concert with this council, Mr. Zine.
Absolutely.
Mr. Parks.
I'd just like to advise the public that the LADWP Ratepayer Advocate will be holding a meeting hosted by Council Districts 8 and 9 tonight at 6 to 8 p.m. at the CSC office, Constituents Service Center at 83rd and Vermont.
Okay, Mr. Labange.
Thank you. Tomorrow, the day before the last day of summer, there'll be the fall equinox hike. Fall takes place on Saturday, but we're having it tomorrow night at Mount Hollywood. We're saluting the British in the London Games and the Olympians throughout. So just come up to the observatory at 5 o'clock and hike up to Mount Hollywood. Additionally, as you may know, Mr. President, you've probably been informed, the shuttle will be coming 1 day later, and it will be here on Friday. It will fly from Palmdale and all the work up there through the basin, along the Santa Monica Mountains, by the Hollywood sign, over the observatory, and right around City Hall on its way to Downey as it salutes and makes its tour. So that will be on Friday, 1 day late. So we want to be aware of that so people can
Mr.
enjoy
Labange,
this.
do you know approximately, I had heard that approximately at 11
o'clock
is when they will fly over the City Hall area.
Right.
So if we get in here and do our work quickly, we might be able to view it.
Or if we also adjourn for 10 minutes, just to let you know, it's
Maybe
monumental. we'll
recess.
Yeah, go there and we'll go by the tower. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Englander.
Yes. Today is an important day. Today, a shout out to my wife. Today is our 19th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations, Mitchell. Congratulations.
And I'm here with you guys. But I'm taking her out tonight, and so to Jane, I love you. 19 years, and here's for 19 more.
Thank you. Mr. Labange, if you could call the Science Center and see if they can get a seat in the shuttle for Mr. Alarcon. He's made a request. Mr. Weezer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Not an announcement, but if I could request item number 3 to go forthwith, please. 3.
Is that a problem, Mr. Clerk? Item 3 forthwith. Okay. Mr. Krikorian?
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Just wanted to let the public know that the Ratepayer Advocate will also be making a presentation in North Hollywood tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. at Fire Station 89 in North Hollywood at a town hall meeting that Councilmember Cardenas and I are co-hosting.
Wonderful. Okay, let's everybody in the council chambers please rise. Everybody please rise. Adjourning motions, members. Mr. Labange.
Members, I think you've read in the newspaper, Steve Sable died. Steve Sable was a creative force, went at an early age of 69, was battling brain cancer. I had the great fortune of working with NFL Films from 1971 to 1994, and a little post beyond that as a West Coast assistant. He was a creative genius, a hard-working guy who really loved the game. And you got to remember, all this ESPN wasn't around then. We had to take the film from the Coliseum and race to the airport to get a United flight to go east, to be processed in Philadelphia, and then made for what was the emergence of Monday Night Football. And really, NFL Films made the modern NFL because people loved the game, and it was what Steve Sable did and the creative genius that he was. He's survived by his wife and his daughter. He's also survived by his dad, who's 95, living in Arizona. And I wrote his dad a letter a few years ago, 1 year ago, and he wrote a nice letter back remembering myself and my brothers how we used to work for them here in L.A. at the Coliseum. It was very special. A very great filmmaker. I ask we adjourn in memory of Steve Sable, NFL Films.
Thank you. Other adjourning motions? Seeing none, members, this meeting is adjourned.